I'm Hanne Bache, and I'm a retired lecturer, and for 21 years I've been president for the Friendship Society of Australia, New Zealand and Denmark. At the AGM in 2019 we decided to wind up the Friendship Society, and later that year we heard about the bushfires in Australia. Actually, I was in Australia late November and experienced the first part of the bushfires, and as everyone knows, they escalated, and it was just devastating. It was so heartbreaking to hear and to see. So we decided to find a project which could help the people somewhere in Australia, and there were lots of places actually to help, and we had different ideas, but I decided just to ask David Handley if he had any idea of what we could do which would make a difference. So the Friendship Society of Australia, New Zealand and Denmark Sculpture Collection is actually a continuation of the Sculpture by the Sea exchange, and all three sculptors have exhibited in Aarhus, and it's so nice to know that it's an Australian, a Danish and a New Zealand sculptor. The Friendship Society was founded back in 1969, so that's a long time ago. And it was founded to facilitate people, primarily Swedes, Danes and Norwegians, to visit their relatives and friends, but relatives who migrated to either New Zealand or Australia. And when Denmark was so lucky to get a crown princess from Australia, it was even more fantastic. They initiated Sculpture by the Sea in Denmark and were patrons for it, and I can see that even though we have wound up the society, the bonds between the two countries will actually continue, and now we have this little sculpture park being a symbol of our relationship and our friendship.
Made for it. You know, the chimney freestanding is just such a great starting point, and I'm thinking that being in a Tumbarumba Park area there, in a lovely dell of trees, I think it'll be a really reflective place for people to spend time and, you know, work on, you know, what it is to think on, you know, the chimney. What do you use to burn for your own comfort, or what do you just leave as valuable in its natural state? On driving around, we do see quite a few chimneys about, and knowing that it's actually been almost a mainstay for people when they first turn up on a piece of land is to get a fire going. And so I think the symbol of a hearth and, you know, the firewood chimney just really sings. Yeah, to be a part of the alliance between Denmark, Australia and New Zealand, it's a fantastic honour, you know, that they have put money towards a group of 3 sculptures to come to Tumbarumba. I think to live in Europe you could actually get by without thinking about Australia at all, but they've reached out. We were sort of worried that within the Snowy Valleys specifically, with such a recent history of, you know, loss and change, we felt that perhaps the chimney might be a little bit raw, and, you know, I didn't really feel like even proposing that we should put a firewood chimney in the Tumbarumba Park, but it seems as though the healing has already started in the community, and that it feels as though the support for that symbol is actually a very relevant symbol at this time. So the sculpture might last in terms of being relevant for generations as time goes on.
It's really exciting to be involved in the Snowy Valleys project, because I watched the bushfires from afar from Perth last year, and it was horrifying. And you know, I can't imagine how horrifying it was to be there. But the overwhelming emotion for me was a feeling of helplessness at, you know, what was going on the other side of the country. And then to visit Snowy Valleys for the first time this year, and to be warmly welcomed by the local community and the arts representatives, it was just inspiring. I'm really excited to be included in the Denmark, Australia, New Zealand Friendship Society works that are going to be gifted to Tumbarumba. I had a sculpture in Aarhus in 2013 that was actually the first time I used a cube form in my works, and the idea was that I started with an element and replicated it en masse, and in that case it was the cube form, and then it became site-specific in the installation of the work. But also the cube form continues with this work that will be installed at Tumbarumba. And it's just kind of changed along the way, different materials and scale. So the work was first exhibited in Cottesloe, Sculpture by the Sea, this year, and the site was in amongst some trees, kind of cascading cube forms on the ground around the trees. So it was a really nice convergence of the hard edge geometry of the cubes with the organic forms of the trees. And then where it's going in Tumbarumba is on a wall and going around a corner. Thank you to the local bank for allowing that to happen. So it's quite exciting. It's taking the work to a completely unexpected site. The concept of an element that's repeated, it relates to the individual and the community, and I see that as an important relation to fitting into Tumbarumba. It's also become about assembling the works so they completely come apart. This is pipe and fittings that are assembled to create the cube form. And there's many benefits to that as well, especially when you're transporting from one side of the country to the other. It's a flat pack sculpture.
Moseholm.
Keld Moseholm.
And I'm a sculptor.
Oh, I'm a sculptor.
If I should try to translate, he has a very long career. But in the middle of the 70s, my husband started to make the small fat men, as we call them. And in Australia, it's also this kind of sculpture he is known for. And the new piece, which are going to be unveiled in December, is also with small fat men. Yeah, my husband talked about the title, Together We Are Strong. He really prefer no title, because it's a kind of a limit. The artistic language is not bound to specific places. Although Keld doesn't speak English, so he can't communicate with the artist there, he communicates with his art. And you are inspired of each other all the time. So therefore it's very important, and has been important for Keld to be a part of this artistic alliance in Australia a lot of times. And we are still. He is still. Yeah, we were shocked. I can talk for Keld also. We were shocked, and we followed the bushfire on the television and in the newspapers, and we were horrified what the people there is going through. It means a lot to him also to be part of this, because our long time being friends of Australia means something, and Keld's way of express his thought about the project is, as you will see, the three fat men is a kind of expression of warm feelings.